Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Fan X Fiction. I'm here today with my co-hosts Cody and Sebastian, and we are going to be doing a dramatic reading of First Warm Day of the Year, a Beastars fan fiction written by Ferrous Patella. All intellectual properties are owned fully by the creators. This is purely non-canon and is not representative of the creators of Beastars. In no way, shape, or form is this story to be considered a part of the growing Beastars universe. All credit goes to Ferrous Patella once again. And before we start this story today, I want to give a big shout out to all the writers that messaged us on Reddit. I would like to thank each and every one of you personally for giving us this much support and these many stories that we can read today. And hopefully over time we can get to every single one of you. But for now, for our first episode, we will be reading this story by, again, Ferrous Patella. Episode 1, First Warm Day of the Year. Fade in. Exterior, Cheriton School Campus. Late winter, early spring, early morning. Legoshi's junior year. Montage. Plant scents across campus. Trees wafting brown. Leaves wafting green. Crocuses wafting purple. Daffodils yellow. Magnolias pink. All in a light breeze. Scents merging into a spectrum of aroma. Exterior school garden. Haru was working in the garden with more enthusiasm than usual.
Well, you guys seem to be appreciating this first nice day of the year. It certainly brings out the best in me.
Haru works a bit more, humming to herself. She pulls in a deep breath.
I do love the smell when everything is warming up. The earth, new leaves, some early flowers, makes me feel like anything is possible. Well, that's all for now. I'm off to breakfast. Enjoy the sunshine. I'll see you after classes.
Interior, school cafeteria. Breakfast. Haru is eating breakfast at a long table. Els is at the far end with her nose in a book. Legoshi passes behind Haru as he sits to join her. Cross-section of Legoshi's head as the usual purple Haru aroma enters his nose and forms a rabbit outline in his brain. Except this time, there's a strand of pink too.
You smell nice today. Different.
I was working out in the garden this morning. It smells wonderful out there.
Yeah, I noticed that. But this is something more. Do you have a new perfume?
Oh no, I bet I'm coming into season. I've been out all winter. No wonder I've been in such good spirits today. It always catches me off guard at first. And of course that wolf nose of his would pick it up. I wish they would teach boys about this stuff in health class so they would know not to just blurt it out when they notice. Although, knowing most boys, they would just be worse.
Legoshi's crotch is right at Haru's eye level as he sits across the table from Haru.
And look, it's affecting him too. And he doesn't have a clue. No wonder boys are so stupid. Well, I might as well put my feminine wiles to use for a good cause.
As Haru talks, her pink and purple scent wafts towards Legoshi.
Can you help me out in the garden this afternoon? With the seasons changing, I want to bring some larger plants out of the greenhouse.
Juno walks by the table in the background. Her gaze lingers on Legoshi as she passes. Haru notices Juno's attention. Juno's passing causes Haru's scent to be stirred up, with the pink becoming more prominent.
Sure. They don't need me today at drama club rehearsal. At this point, I'm just watching to get ideas for lighting.
Legoshi becomes engrossed in his breakfast.
Are you sure that's all you're watching?
Huh?
Juno. I don't think she's given up on you. Best to keep an eye on her.
Okay, I'll do that.
Under the table, Haru kicks Legoshi.
Ow! What did I do?
I still don't know if you're sensitive or stupid.
From the far end of the table, Els speaks without looking up from her book.
He's sensitive.
Shot. Stylized, still frame of Els and a shocked face.
Oh my god, did I say that out loud?
Return to scene. Els runs off in a panic.
It looks like there's more than 2 girls in Legoshi's fan club.
2? I mean, I guess you could say Juno is a fan. Who else?
Me?
Oh, yeah. Right. I think of you as a lot more than a fan. Sorry.
You're forgiven. Oh my god. I want this wolf right now. It's driving me crazy waiting for him to be ready. Maybe I should hook up with someone else in the meantime. That might prod Legoshi into action. Bad idea. That's just hormones talking. Just breathe. Act normal.
Haru tilts her head towards Elle's empty seat.
Where did that come from, anyhow?
I did her you might call it a favor a while ago. And then she attacked me with a pair of scissors. Maybe she feels like she needs to make it up to me.
You did her a favor and she attacked you? Why?
It wasn't really her fault. She thought I was going to devour her.
Oh, so I do have some competition. I'm sorry. I suppose that wasn't very funny. You know, I only joke about it to show you that I'm over it.
I get it. But I'm not sure I ever will be. But it helps to know you are. Or at least you're pretending to be.
So where did she get the idea you were trying to eat her?
Flashback. School locker room, year before. Legoshi looks over Tem's shoulder as Tem puts letter in locker and closes it.
The day before Tem was attacked, he had shown me a letter he wrote to Els, telling her how he felt about her. He said he was waiting for the perfect moment to give it to her, but really, I think he was afraid to open up to her.
Dorm room desk. Tem's letter in on the desk.
I saw the letter on his desk the next day, and I thought Tem would want Els to have it. I didn't want to give it to her when anyone else was around in case it was, awkward or something.
Outside Elle's dorm, Lemur is talking with Els, then departs.
So I waited until she was alone. The day after the attack, everyone was on edge. It was nighttime before I found her alone, and
Legoshi looms in the dark.
I guess I came out of the dark, and
Back to present.
well, I'm a wolf.
So sensitive and stupid.
Yeah, I guess so.
I shouldn't complain about the stupid. We wouldn't be together if you weren't so stupid. The smart move would be to date the most beautiful and popular girl who's got a crush on you. And if you were smart, I wouldn't be alive today. Saving me the way you did was very, very stupid.
Sure know how to make a guy feel appreciated.
I do have better ways, you know.
Haru stands on her seat and leans with her hands on the table to peck Legoshi on nose. He freezes. Haru gathers her things and hurries off to class. She shouts after him. Juno is barely noticeable, seated in the background.
See you later, in the garden.
Exterior campus grounds, after breakfast. Legoshi is walking to class. He leans against a tree and closes his eyes to take a moment to enjoy the fresh air. Aroma trails create images of plants and flowers in his mind. A white aroma forms an outline of a goat. Legoshi tilts his head.
Els?
Els is standing right next to Legoshi. Apprehensive, Legoshi opens his eyes.
I wasn't sure you were talking to me after what I did in there. It's no problem. Haru pretty much laughed it off. She made it pretty clear she sees Juno as much more of a challenge than you. Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you about your Labrador friend, Jack. Jack? I wouldn't say he's been unhappy lately. He's always happy. More like a little lost. You're his only close friend, and since you and Haru have been spending so much time together, he's been a bit at sea. Jack's so outgoing. He's got lots of friends. Not really. Herbivores tend to lump carnivores into one big... I don't know. Most don't make the distinction between different species' aggression, let alone the differences within a species. Like the difference between a lab like Jack and a terrier like Albin. And no one takes into account an individual like you. And because Jack's prey drive is so low, the carnivores at school don't take him seriously. He'd rather play games with herbivores than hunt them. The carnivores all think he's just a herbivore with fangs, and small ones at that. He really is caught between the two cultures. I think that is why you two are such good friends. You both are facing the same problem from opposite directions. Society is trying to force its expectations on both of you. You're trying to fight those expectations, where Jack just isn't that way naturally. You really get people, don't you? I remember when you told me to support Bill during Adler. Here he is, the quintessential carnivore, making a big show about being the star, but even as an herbivore, you were the one who saw through his aggressive front. Man, You were right about him. The rabbit blood? Yes, I knew about that. That's what tipped me off. But you saw that he needed help. Anyone else would have thought he was just being a tiger or turned him in. Not you. You saw the individual. That's why I was mortified when I accused you of attacking me. I knew you were a good wolf, even before you gave me Tem's letter, but I let the fear of my instincts take a hold of me, even though I knew better. I really am sorry. It's okay, I understand. Instincts are faster than thought, and sometimes stronger. I know from experience. But it's what you do in the long run that counts. You saw the good in Bill. You saw the good in me. You see the good in everyone. Yes, that's me. Watching from the sidelines, not actually doing anything.
They both gather their thoughts for a moment.
You know, you could talk with Jack. Spend some time with him. We don't really travel in the same circles. The only reason I know you or any carnivores is because of drama club. Then draw your own circles. Sit with him at lunch. I don't think so. In case you haven't noticed, the cafeteria tables are pretty segregated. I sit with you and Haru for the quiet so I can read. Everyone leaves you two alone. Then I'll just make sure Jack eats breakfast with us for the next few days. That won't seem too awkward. You won't have to put yourself forward. He'll start up a conversation with anyone. He can't help himself. Just don't have your nose stuck in a book. Are you trying to set us up? No, I'm the last person anyone should take any romantic advice from. Although, just having one other integrated couple at school would make Haru and me seem less bizarre. But, no, just talk with him. Spend some time with him. Us. You're the one that said Jack is at sea. You don't have to be his anchor. Just a little wind in his sails. Forcing romance never works. Ask Juno. Haru really seems to be in love with you. I'm not so sure sometimes. Oh, you're not just another notch in the bedpost for her. She's different with you than she was with other guys. It's more like how she is with her flowers. Trust me. You said I'm the only one who gets people.
They both gather their thoughts for a moment.
Have you dated anyone since we lost him? No, it didn't seem like it's the right time. I never told you, but Tem had been waiting days for the perfect time to give you his letter. I don't think he'd want to see you make the same mistake. We'd all be a lot more alone if we waited for the perfect time to bring people into our lives. I really need to talk to Haru.
Exterior school garden, mid-afternoon. Haru and Legoshi are carrying planters across the garden. Legoshi is particularly hot and sweaty. Haru sets her much smaller planter down.
Just set yours down at the end of the row and we'll take a break. Do you want anything cold to drink?
Legoshi wanders down to the spot Haru indicated and sets his planter down. He stretches, facing away from Haru.
Do you have any chocolate soy milk?
He turns to find Haru right in front of him, holding out his drink.
I guess I'm pretty predictable.
Let's just say I've grown to know you pretty well.
Haru hops up to sit on an ornate garden bench a couple of meters away from Legoshi and looks at him expectantly. Legoshi is busy finishing his drink in one go and drains it before he notices her look. He sits down next to her, awkwardly. After a moment, he speaks.
Haru, have you ever thought about where we'll end up after school?
How do you mean?
It's just that I've seen a lot of couples drift apart and move on after they graduate, especially if they're in different years. Where are you going to go?
Well, Mrs. Gardner is retiring, and since Cherryton School has not produced any other gardeners for many years, I'm the only candidate to take over her shop. Plus, she's seen the school garden. She was impressed, especially considering I'm the only garden club member. The shop is less than a kilometer away from the school, so you're not getting rid of me that easily.
Wait, the lady who runs the garden shop is really named Mrs. Gardner?
Series of shots. The garden shop. Various times. A sheep couple in traditional garb tends a small flower stall.
Not really. It's a very, very old shop that had been in the same family for centuries. Back when they first started, people still got their surnames from whatever work they did.
A fishmonger rolls his cart past women standing in front of the bakery next door to the flower stall.
Like Hannah the baker, or Riku the fisher.
The sheep couple hangs a sign inscribed Gardeners in Kojiki. Push into just the sign. Pull out to show a new sheep couple in contemporary clothes in front of a much larger shop.
A long time ago, they made a sign for the shop that just said Gardeners. It still hangs in front of the shop to this day.
In front of the shop, The new sheep couple bows with an alpaca man. He turns and begins to tend the shop as they leave.
When the last of their line died out recently, Mrs. Gardner's grandfather bought the shop. Everyone assumed he was a gardener too, and he thought keeping the name would be good for the business.
Female alpaca tends the shop.
Mrs. Gardner kind of grew up with the name, so she kept it when she took over the shop, even after she got married.
Return to scene.
So, what about you? Do you have any big plans for after school?
No, I'm not really good at any of my classes. Even in drama club, I'm just a hanger-on. This is a really tough town for entry-level work. Most students go back to their hometowns to find work. I sure haven't seen any want ads for theater lighting technicians.
Well, you can work with me. I certainly would need some muscle around to run a big shop like that.
Yeah.
In fact, you should apply for work study for next year. That way we can start working together half days before you graduate. I could use the help, especially when I first take over. And if you work as hard as you do around here, I will have to give you high marks.
Won't that look a little suspicious with you giving me good grades?
No, you'll be putting Mrs. Gardner down as your sponsor on the work study application. And they may never know it's me marking you. Plus, if what you say is true about your grades, your teachers will be fighting over who doesn't have to teach you next year.
I was also thinking about us. Longer term.
Longer term?
You know, family.
Family? Aren't we a little too young to be planning a family?
Not now, but maybe someday. Wolves are social animals. As pretty much a loner, I haven't had any sort of pack here at school. I find that thinking about a family is very, I don't know, calming. I think that's why I like insects so much.
Flashback. Series of stills. Various. Undefined space. Legoshi's youth. 8 years old. Young Legoshi plays with a caterpillar.
I've always enjoyed raising small creatures, watching them grow.
A different undefined space. Legoshi's youth. 8 years. Young Legoshi releases a butterfly.
Seeing what they become. Seeing what they can do when they can look after themselves. I think I would really like being a dad.
Legoshi's bunk. Last year. Contemporary Legoshi feeds his beetle.
I've seen you with them.
Outside rehearsal hall. Last year. Contemporary Legoshi gently picks up a grasshopper.
I think you'd make a wonderful father.
Back to present.
And you, with your garden. You're very nurturing.
Yeah, with plans. Not so much with people.
You've done pretty good with me. I think you'd be a great mom.
Haru leans in and nuzzles Legoshi's arm. He blushes.
As a mixed species couple, I don't know if we could even have children of our own. Even if we could, hybrids are such outcasts that most mixed couples go childless. A few adopt.
We could adopt whatever species we want. Maybe we could get wolves for you and rabbits for me.
I don't think wolves is a good idea. It's bad enough having one carnivore's instincts around a bunch of tiny herbivores. How about a young deer buck?
Haru punches Legoshi in the arm.
Ow!
Don't joke around. This is serious.
I'm not joking. I admire Louis, too. I feel the world could use another stag who's grown up unafraid of carnivores. I think that's why I became so attached to Louis. He was the only herbivore who never showed any fear around me, even when he saw my dark side. Whenever he showed contempt at my aggression or tried to bring it out, I think he was talking to himself as much as he was to me. I never knew what he was thinking. He always seemed so guarded.
Flashback. Garden shed. A year ago. Montage. Haru and Louis when his antlers fell off.
That's how we met, you know. I walked in on him when he was trying to hide one of his weaknesses.
Haru and Louis embrace in the shed.
After we crossed that bridge, I guess he saw me as a refuge, a place where he could let his guard down a little bit.
Back to present.
But he and I were never destined to live happily ever after.
Why not?
You may not know this, but Louis's family arranged his marriage in order to continue the family line. Maybe he thought I would be his mistress and continue to be his refuge from his arranged life, from his arranged succession of proper red deer fawns.
Legoshi absent-mindedly tries to take a swig out of his milk bottle, only to find it is still empty. He contemplates on the bottle for a moment.
Another option for us would be a surrogate parent.
Well, it's a good thing you don't want wolf pups. No way am I letting you mate with some she-wolf like Juno.
Actually, I was thinking about you. I would love to raise a bunch of mini Harus.
And you wouldn't mind if I mated with someone else?
It hasn't bothered me this far.
Haru jumps up on the bench and punches Legoshi in the arm as hard as she can, which isn't very hard.
Ow.
That isn't funny, you know. I haven't slept with anybody since we became... whatever we are.
Haru sits down in a huff.
You seemed pretty worked up about it when you tried to talk about it last year. When you said I shouldn't give myself to other guys like that.
I wasn't talking about other guys. I was talking about how you were with me. And I wasn't saying you shouldn't, just that you don't have to. I think you underestimate how nice it is just to be with you, and you depend too much on sex to win guys over.
I can do what I want.
But is that what you want? I remember our first day in the garden. You were so disappointed when you thought I was just here for sex. I could see it in your face, hear it in your voice.
If you weren't offended by me trying to seduce you, why did you run off?
Flashback. Garden shed. A year ago. Series of shots. Haru and Legoshi talking.
You offered to repay my help with a meal and asked me what I like to eat.
Legoshi with his hands over his eyes.
I had tried to devour you just days before, and all I could think was, not you. I don't want to eat you. I froze up.
Haru's standing in front of Legoshi in her underwear, removing Legoshi's belt and pants.
Next thing I know, you'd taken your dress off, and you were about to take my pants off.
Legoshi looking at Haru in shock.
My cravings for food and sex were all mixed up, and I was scared and panicked, and I was afraid I was going to lose control again.
Legoshi catching his tail in the door as he runs off.
So yeah, I ran off.
Return to present.
I guess I was a little afraid of the sex too. I didn't have any experience with girls. I was more intimidated than offended by your reputation.
My reputation?
Haru punches Legoshi in the arm.
Ow! It's kind of cute the way she hits me when she's mad. And if she was really mad at me, she'd chew me out instead. I also like how it shows how she's not afraid of what I am.
And you can stop wagging your tail every time I hit you.
Haru starts punching nonstop.
Ow! Ow! Why are you hitting me? Ow!
I'm mad at you for being so hard to stay mad at.
Interior rehearsal hall. Sheila is posed center stage, one arm curved upwards. Bill and Ellen are a little ways behind Sheila.
Sheila, you're going to be in a tight spotlight, and Bill, you are going to come out of the dark and come up from behind Sheila to surprise your character and the audience.
Ellen demonstrates the stage cross, then motions for Bill to do it.
As you come up, you slowly open your arms, then lift your right hand to clasp Sheila's. Walk around to entwine your arms and end up behind her. Then, you continue to wrap around her with your left arm in a downward spiral.
Ellen moves his arm into place.
Slowly, sensually. Try again.
Bill tries again with improved results, but still just shy of elegant.
That's better. You two do look good together. I can't wait to see you dance this in costume.
Is the lighting going to work for this? Is the audience going to see Bill too soon? Maybe we should have a piece on the set for Bill to come out from behind.
I'd rather not. I want to keep the stage open and simple for this. Legoshi, what do you think? Can we do it just with the lights? Legoshi? I haven't seen him today. He's not on the call list for rehearsals. But he's always hanging around. Something must be up.
Juno, sitting along a wall, perks up.
I think I know where he is. I'll go get him.
Juno leaves quickly out the rehearsal hall doors. Els watches Juno go and gives a little shake of her head. Exterior, school garden. Haru is rummaging around in a shed. She opens a large tin.
It looks like we are out of fungus dust.
Split screen. Legoshi is working elsewhere in the garden, facing away. Haru grabs her bag and heads for the garden door.
Legoshi, I'm going to go get some rose dust from the garden shop.
Do you need me to come with you and carry it back?
Interior, hallway, outside garden. Haru shouts back through the door before it closes.
No, it's small. I won't be gone too long. You keep working here.
Unseen by Haru, Juno is coming up the hallway from the other direction. She has overheard Haru. Juno's pink scent engulfs her as she thinks.
This is fateful. This could be my chance. I can show him what he's missing. How gray wolves respond naturally to being close to others of our own species. I can show him that I still love him.
Exterior school garden. Juno enters through the garden door.
Legoshi?
Oh. Hi, Juno. What are you doing up here?
There was a lighting question at rehearsal today. They sent me to ask you.
A lighting question this early in production?
They may have to build some additional pieces to the set to make it work if the lighting is wrong. They want to address it early and wanted your opinion.
What does the choreography look like?
Exterior, city street. Ballet music cues in through the scene. All characters' movements are slightly balletic and responsive to the music. Haru is approaching the garden shop. Exterior, school garden. Juno is demonstrating as she talks.
And while Sheila is posed like this, Bill enters into the light. This is where we want to surprise the audience as much as possible. He opens up, and then he wraps his arms around her in a beautiful coil.
Interior, garden shop. Haru steps on point to reach the rose dust. She crosses to pay at the counter and leaves the store. Exterior, school garden. Juno approaches Legoshi.
You know, you should have tried out for Bill's part. You're far more graceful than he is.
No way. I'm pretty clumsy.
Juno steps closer to Legoshi.
Maybe last year with all your growth spurts, but this year you have settled into your frame. Matured. Come on, you try it.
Exterior, school grounds. Long shot of Haru with her package walking across the campus. Exterior, school garden. Juno is in the same pose as Sheila earlier. Legoshi is crossing to Juno from behind and follows her instructions.
Arms open. As you approach, slide your right hand up my forearm until we clasp hands. Now walk around so our arm twists around each other and you wind up behind me again. Lay your cheek on my left shoulder and bring your left arm around me across and down until your hand rests.
Juno blushes as she places his left hand on her right thigh.
Here. That's it. Slow and fluid.
Cross-section of Legoshi's head with aroma entering his nose. But this time, the scent is hot pink and the outline is a she-wolf's hips. Its tail waves slowly to the left and then wraps tightly around the right hip. End ballet music cue. Pan of Legoshi's neurons firing.
No, not now.
Legoshi appears in silhouette. Heartbeat sound cues.
Why are you here?
Return to Legoshi with his arms around Juno. This scene is a reprise of episode 2, scene 3, when Legoshi attacks Haru.
This sound, is it mine? Is it yours? She feels so warm. She moves around a lot. Her breath is making my arm wet. Under her clothes. What's under her soft fur? Stop. What should I do? What should I... How satisfying this would feel. The warm flesh. My hands won't stop.
That's how it should be. You've struggled your entire life, and now you've reached your limit.
Go away. Stop.
You suppressed your feelings, and you've lived quietly in the darkness, haven't you? Is that sadness you're feeling, or is it frustration?
Stop.
It's neither. You feel joy from the bottom of your heart.
No, stop. Stop.
Look at me. Face yourself. Don't look away. I'm growing bigger. Can you see?
I won't look. Go away.
I know you're ready. The fun part is just starting. All it takes is one taste. You've longed for this taste.
Stop.
Give it to me. Series of still frames. Legoshi and Juno still pose together. Juno's panties around her ankles. Juno's skirt hem coming up. Legoshi's pants around his knees. Juno on her knees, crushing flowers. Legoshi's face grimacing with his eyes closed, neck arched, over black.
Legoshi!
Exterior, school garden. Haru is furious.
What are you doing?
Seen from over Haru's shoulder, Juno is facing Haru on all fours, and Legoshi is kneeling behind her. Juno's expression is pleased, victorious, and a little mean.
Will you look at what you've done to my flowers? Your flowers? Get out of my garden.
As Legoshi pulls his pants up, Juno gets up. Legoshi falls onto his back when she does. He goes to get up, but Haru stops him with her foot.
Not you. You're going to stay here and fix this.
In no hurry, Juno picks up her panties, brushes off her skirt, and strolls towards the door. Haru turns on her.
Out.
The garden door closes.
The flowers are really what you were upset about?
Haru spins on Legoshi.
What do you think, you idiot? I'm not going to let her see she's hurt me. She set that up on purpose. She wanted me to find you two at it. She wanted to break us up. She's probably in season 2, and she thought that would hook you. I'd been unintentionally priming that pump all day. Then she swoops in.
In season?
And you fell for it. Well, she's an amateur when it comes to stealing boyfriends. I'm not playing her game. I'm not going to make the same mistakes as that Harlequin rabbit either.
Haru straddles Legoshi's chest.
We've been stuck in this position this whole time. The night you attacked me, do you know what I thought? You should just take me. I don't care anymore. I was ready to have it over with.
Haru pulls her dress off over her head.
Right here, right now, Wolf. Either we have sex or you devour me. I don't care which. I just want to get past this life of waiting. Well?
Don't you see? It's exactly how it was that night I attacked you. It's the same beast in me. The same loss of control. The two desires are mixed up inside of me. I don't trust myself. You can't trust me. You don't know how close I was to devouring you that night. I was over the edge. If Zoe hadn't come running up.
Legoshi loses what's left of his composure. After a while, he regains it, plus some.
And I do care which way it goes. I want a life with you. I just was hoping our first time would be a bit more romantic.
Haru closes her eyes, tilts her head back, and takes a couple of deep, deliberate breaths.
You're right.
She gets up, picks up, and puts on her dress.
Of course you're right. I don't have to do this her way. Her way? Who am I kidding? This has been the way I've always done it. This makes the 3rd time I've tried to seduce Legoshi out of the blue, and they all ended up in disaster. I need to try something different if we're going to get past this. You know, we've never been on so much as a date. I still owe you a meal from that first day you helped me. Let's have dinner right here in the garden. A date. No me helping you out with your homework, no you doing the heavy lifting or saving the day, no pressure. No expectations, just you and me without any reason other than to be together. I'll fix you up something very special.
Legoshi is a little disoriented by this turn of events.
You're not gonna serve me meat, are you? That would be a very bad idea.
Right now I'd feed you my own left foot if I thought it would fix this. But no, meat's not a good idea. I know just the thing. I'll need a while to get ready.
Haru shoos Legoshi towards the door.
You run along and be back here in 2 hours?
Legoshi pauses at the door.
You're amazing, you know. After what I just did, I can't believe that you... I don't know if forgive is the right word.
I'm just dealing with things the way they are and looking for the best way forward to get what I want. However, just to be clear, if you ever do something like this again, I will have your pelt on my wall.
That's a bit gruesome.
I'll hang a sign by it explaining. People can decide for themselves whether it is justifiable or commendable homicide.
Haru glares for a moment, waiting for the message to sink in.
I can't tell if she's kidding about the pelt or not.
Haru softens.
Off you go. Don't be late.
Interior, Legoshi's dorm room. 5 minutes later, Legoshi is frozen in the middle of the room. Kai and Jack are playing checkers by the window.
I've screwed up so bad. I've got to do this date perfectly. How do you get ready for a date? A shower? I can handle a shower, and I can use the time to think.
After his shower, Legoshi dries himself off, then wraps up in the towel. He begins to trim his nails very short.
Does anybody have cologne?
Why do you need cologne?
I have a date with Haru.
Why are you so nervous? You and Haru have been going steady all year.
I screwed up so bad today. I've really got to make it up to her.
Forget the cologne. A fresh and clean you is your best bet.
Says the guy with his own built-in musk.
It only works on girls of my own species.
Legoshi is rummaging through his closet.
I don't have anything to wear. All my nice clothes are school uniforms. Who is my size that will have something nice to wear?
Legoshi, you have access to the drama club wardrobe.
Do you think there's anything in there that will fit me?
Well, I can help you out there.
Oh, yeah, right. You're pretty good with costumes. I should get her some flowers?
For the girl who has the best garden in the city? I don't think so. What kind of date is it?
She's fixing me a dinner.
A bottle of wine is traditional. What is she fixing?
I don't know.
Okay. How badly did you screw up?
So bad you're going to hear about it all over school by tomorrow morning. I don't want to talk about it.
Better go with champagne. That's pretty special, and it goes with about anything.
Where am I going to get champagne?
Leave it to me. I'll meet you guys at the drama club. Exterior school garden, late afternoon. Haru is harvesting vegetables. Interior drama club wardrobe. Series of shots. Legoshi in tuxedo. Legoshi in Adler's costume. Legoshi in muscle shirt and jeans. Legoshi in a kimono. Legoshi in a sharp suit. Return to scene. Kai is doing some last-minute alterations to Legoshi's suit. Jack comes in with the champagne. Nice job, Kai.
You think? Thanks.
Jack hands Legoshi the champagne. Here you go. I think you're as ready as you're going to be.
I don't think I'm ever going to be ready.
If she's fixing you dinner after you screwed up as bad as you say you did, I think you're going to be all right. You want to keep this girl. Off you go. And don't worry about curfew. I'll take care of that. Exterior, school garden, sunset. Haru is preparing dinner over a shiturin, which is more than waist high on her. She is wearing a gauzy blouse over a form-fitting, low-cut, bare midriff tee. Her calf-length skirt has a floral print. The sun shining through from behind creates a silhouette of her body. There's a knock on the garden door. Haru puts down her utensils and picks up a boutonniere.
If that's you, Legoshi, you don't need to knock.
Legoshi comes in, champagne bottle in hand. Haru is walking towards him.
Wow.
Always the eloquent one, aren't you? Oh, don't look hurt. Usually the fewest deeply felt words are best. You look very nice yourself. Just one little thing.
Haru leads Legoshi by the hand next to a stool. She hops on it and puts the boutonniere into Legoshi's lapel. With her hand still on Legoshi's chest from straightening his lapel, she gives him a peck on the cheek, then hops off the stool. Legoshi, caught off guard, manages to bend over to give Haru a kiss on her forehead, but at the last moment, she turns her face up to kiss Legoshi on the mouth. She holds the kiss, caressing his jawline as she does. When the kiss ends, Legoshi straightens up. Haru looks up, apprehensive that she's been too forward already.
You set that up on purpose.
If a rabbit my size waits for a kiss from a wolf your size to happen naturally, she's going to wait a long time. Dinner is almost ready. There are some glasses on the table. Why don't you pour? The trick with champagne is to ease the cork out and not to let it fly. I've never been strong enough to do that myself.
Legoshi heads over to a chabadai, with a couple of piles cushioned by it. He uses the cork open with the tiniest of puffs and is mildly surprised by his success. He pours the drinks into the waiting champagne flutes. He sees an ice bucket next to the table and puts the bottle in it. Already in the bucket is a twin of his bottle.
Thank you, Jack. I think Haru approves of your gift idea. 1 test passed. Well, 2 if you count Kai's work on the suit. Maybe I'm not so bad at this dating thing after all.
Haru takes the food off the grill and puts it onto 2 plates. She brings the plates and some condiments on a platter over to the table. As she kneels at the table, her skirt billows out around to form a circle around her on the ground. The table is too high for her. She looks up expectantly at Legoshi as she reaches for her wine. He kneels formally at the table, but it is too low for him. He pulls a cushion from under himself and offers it to Haru, which she uses. The results is an improvement, but not perfect. Legoshi takes a sip of his wine.
We have portobello burgers and some mixed grilled vegetables.
Smells good.
Haru sets a plate in front of each of them. She indicates the platter.
There's everything there to fix your burger the way you like it.
They fuss over their food. Legoshi picks up his burger and takes a modest bite out of it. Haru cuts a Haru-sized bite from hers. Legoshi takes a more enthusiastic bite. Haru's leg twitches.
Oh no. Not after all this time. And I've been doing so well for months. It must be first date nerves. Come on, relax. You're doing things a new way. Get past this.
Haru attempts to distract him from the burger.
Try some vegetables.
Legoshi tentatively tries a vegetable bite, raises an eyebrow, and tries another.
These are good. This one tastes like toasted marshmallows.
That's zucchini.
If they served vegetables like this at the cafeteria, I'd eat them all the time.
You have to get the timing just right. You couldn't do it for hundreds of students.
And your burger, it's a lot better than the ones they serve. It's so, I don't know the word, satisfying.
Toothsome, maybe? On a few occasions, my father would bring a carnivorous business acquaintance home for dinner. Not wolves or tigers, mind you, kestrels and weasels sometimes. My mother would serve this meal whenever that happened. Once one of them said the burger was meaty. That was awkward. I really used to enjoy helping my mother in the kitchen.
You're quite the good cook.
I haven't had much time since coming to Cherryton. And next year, I won't have much time starting a new business. It's nice to have the opportunity.
Maybe you can teach me to cook. I really want to do my share if we're still on to, work together.
Of course we're still on. What do you think all this evening is about? I want to work with you. I want to live with you. I want us to raise a family together, grow old together. Legoshi, I love you. Legoshi?
It's just, that's the first time you've said that, at least with words. Sometimes I think you just put up with me out of obligation because I help you out, or I saved your life. Maybe you stay with me because you think I'm as good as you will ever do. At the Meteor Festival, when I said I loved you, you didn't say anything back.
Flashback, Harbor Park, previous Meteor Festival, series of shots. Haru and Legoshi talking in the crowd in front of the stage.
Oh, Legoshi, I tried to tell you that night. Remember when I said I wanted to talk first? I was going to tell you right then.
Tao leads Legoshi by the hand next to Juno on the stage.
But Juno snatched you away.
Juno holds Legoshi's hand aloft on the stage.
I saw you up on that stage and you two looked so perfect together. People around me were saying that you were an amazing couple. I thought I'd lost you forever.
Haru runs upstairs to City Overlook. Legoshi chases after her.
So I ran off. I told myself that you were better off without me. Then you came after me, telling me how you felt. I told myself to bury my feelings, avoid any more pain.
At the Overlook, Haru is standing next to Legoshi. She reaches up for his hand but hesitates.
By the time you said you loved me, I'd been tamping down my own feelings so hard that I just couldn't let them out again. Not all at once.
Back to present.
But you're right. I should tell you that I love you more. Maybe that's how we tame the beast in you.
Haru is in near tears. Legoshi caresses her cheek and wipes away a tear gently with his thumb. The big kiss. Series of still shots. Their date continues. Haru and Legoshi finish eating. They clear the table. Haru snuggling in Legoshi's lap as they roast marshmallows. Haru pouring more champagne. They talk while holding their glasses. Laying on their backs, stargazing. A close-up of their hands clasped together. Haru's starting music on a boombox. Dancing, a la opening credits. Legoshi kneeling to get a hug from Haru. Legoshi and Haru walking towards an ornate garden bench. Return to scene. The last still becomes action. Haru hops up to sit on the bench and gives Legoshi the same expectant look she gave him earlier that day. This time, he sits down a lot more gracefully.
You know, if we do adopt children, we're going to have to get married. I can't imagine an adoption agency letting a mixed species couple have a child without the commitment of marriage.
If I had a ring, I'd propose to you right now. But I'll never be able to afford a ring.
Haru jumps up on the back of the bench. She plucks a couple of strands of vine. She kneels, straddling Legoshi's thighs.
We used to do this when we were kids. Give me your left hand and pay attention.
Haru weaves a ring around his ring finger with one of the vines. Then she holds out her own hand.
Now you do me.
Legoshi weaves Haru's ring more slowly. His big finger is clumsy around her tiny finger. They lock eyes. Haru gives Legoshi a kiss.
In case you are doubting, you've made the right decision, you should know. She-wolves come into season once a year for only a week. Rabbit does are in season for most of the year, non-stop.
Oh.
Haru kisses Legoshi. He nuzzles the nape of her neck and pulls her closer. She subtly shifts her hips onto his. Pan up, following an aroma trail of pink, purple, and gray to the stars. Sky rotates and lightens as Pan continues, coming to a stop at a sunrise behind Cherryton School campus. Interior, school cafeteria, breakfast, next morning. Haru is holding a bouquet of flowers as she heads for the serving line. Background chatter gets quieter.
Okay, some heads are turning. This means that word has gotten out, at least about Juno and Legoshi. I don't see her yet. Ah, yes. Here comes Mizuchi's crew to gloat. Don't show any weakness.
I heard that Juno's stolen your boyfriend.
So no details. That would be Juno's style. Declare victory without slinging any mud. If Mizuchi had heard anything more, she'd be rubbing my nose in it.
The shoe's on the other foot now. How does it feel? Kai and Jack speak up from behind Mizuchi's trio.
I heard that Haru and Legoshi had a big date last night.
Mizuchi turns on the boys, nonplussed. And Legoshi's bunk was still empty this morning. Mizuchi spins back to Haru. Mizuchi's mouth starts to form a what?
And that's how you keep someone from stealing your boyfriend. You should take notes.
Haru turns to leave. Mizuchi makes to push Haru over, but Jack begins to growl. Mizuchi thinks better of her attack and motions for her posse to leave. They do so.
Easy there, big boy. You scared them off. I didn't know you had that in you.
That was me?
You must be Jack. Legoshi talks about you all the time. I suspect that you deserve some of the credit for our dinner's success.
Yeah, I don't think Legoshi would have made it out the door if we hadn't pushed him along.
We?
Jack indicates Kai. Kai helped too.
You're from the drama club crew, aren't you? I think I see where that suit came from. Very nice. Thanks. I thought he looked best in the tuxedo, but he thought it was too much for dinner. Well, the spring promenade is coming up. Maybe Legoshi can wear it there. Although I don't have anything nice enough to wear with it. I can help you there too.
There's Juno. Do you want us to provide some cover while you get away?
No, I've got this.
Haru marches over to Juno. Juno holds her ground.
It looks like she's heard about the big night Legoshi and I had. Well?
Haru proffers the flowers.
I saw these this morning and I couldn't help but think of you. I'd like for you to have them. Is this some sort of joke? No, it's a peace offering. And thank you. Look, I know you didn't do what you did to hurt me. You love Legoshi and think he's worth fighting for. I'd be a hypocrite if I held that against you. Plus, it may not have been your intention, but what you did helped push Legoshi and me over some hurdles. I appreciate that. So, what? Now we're friends? I know we can't be friends, but we don't have to be enemies. Legoshi needs all the friends and support he can get. The least we can do is be civil to one another if we both really care about him. Legoshi would like that. Think about it.
Juno goes to take the flowers but hesitates.
You are very wise, Rabbit. Legoshi could do worse than you. And you still think he'd be better off with you. Again, I'd be a hypocrite if I held that against you.
Juno warms slightly at this concession and accepts the flowers from Haru.
People are beginning to stare. What should we do? Kiss and hug? No. Too over the top. No one would believe it. Bow and part? Too formal. Too staged. Just wing it. Thanks! See you!
Juno sniffs her flowers as she turns and departs. Haru watches Juno go for a moment. Haru is startled when Legoshi comes up behind her and speaks.
So you and Juno were talking? I expected a screaming match.
Or at least looks that could kill.
People would lose a lot of money betting on me doing what's expected. No. She and I have declared a cessation of open hostilities. Her heart is mostly in the right place. It just needs to find its own perfect boyfriend and leave my hearts alone.
Haru and Legoshi lock eyes for a moment until they realize people are watching. They let the moment pass.
I still don't trust her. She may try again. Best keep an eye on her.
I'll do that.
Over black.
Ow.
Closing credits. Montage. Haru offering Legoshi a drink in the garden. Legoshi turning in his work-study application. Legoshi, Haru, Jack, and Els chatting at a cafeteria table. Els' book is open, but face down on the table. Kai working on Haru's dress. Bill and Sheila in the ballet performance. Haru modeling the dress for Kai as he makes adjustments. Bill and Sheila being crowned the king and queen at the prom. Legoshi and Haru dancing at the prom. Legoshi and Haru on the garden bench, silhouetted by the moon as they gaze at it. cuddling side by side. Fade out. Episode 1, First Warm Day of the Year. Again, written by Ferrous Patella. And we will leave a link to the story so that you can read alongside it. And there is much more episodes along with this. I don't know if we'll continue this. It just depends on how many stories we have. Because, again, we got so many people responding to us in such a fun, interesting way, wanting to showcase everything that they had, that I just want to make sure that we can get to every one of them in time. And for now, we're planning on releasing, I don't know if it's going to be a weekly thing or we'll see about doing multiple episodes.
I would see
We'll just have to see.
bi-weekly at least.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
we'll probably within the next day or two record another one. But for now, we're gonna call it here. So thank you all so much for watching. And
Something that I think we should do, and I think that this part should stay in just so that like people know. I think that we should like get this one all edited, put this one out, and then build up a buffer. So just so people know, it's like, hey, this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing, but give us a couple of weeks to start actually posting stuff because we're going to take time to build a little buffer for ourselves.
yeah, we just wanted to, if anything, give like
A pilot episode, if you will.
yeah, just so people are aware that we're not gonna like ask for all this stuff. We get all these permissions and we don't post anything. It would just more than anything look bad
Yeah.
on our parts and make us look like assholes. And we want to do an episode 1, continue onwards forward. We would love to read more stories, more fan fictions, more original stories, more creepypastas, really anything that you guys can throw at us. We're just going to try to throw something together so that everybody can start getting content that they enjoy and listening in. And thank you.
Thank you.